I'm back. Welcome back. Boy, is it nice to be back. Yes, I just called you boy, alluding to the fact that you are just a boy, not a man. Seems to be everyone's favorite thumbnail, or not thumbnail, title. But once again, I have to address the issue. I had not uploaded for 2 weeks. Usually, when I upload on a Friday, or if I don't upload, then I put a discussion post. I did neither of the two for 2 weeks. And to that, no apology. My excuse is that I was on spring break, but that is not justifiable. Should have been making videos or at least uploading a post. And I want to do this. It's not like it's a grudge to me. So forgive me on this fault. Please continue to watch my videos. I enjoy looking at the view count being so high. Makes me feel happy that at least people are listening to my videos. Anyways, getting into the content. I want to talk about the 4 different types of people. And this kind of links into what happened to me over spring break. But this week, I have, after a while of trying to understand the world and understand people, I've come to the opinion that there is 4 types of people. You have the first being the people who live the day-to-day kind of life, the people who want to live each day to the fullest, in quotes. Well, I'll get to that. They want to live each day to the fullest, meaning they want today to go nicely and they want today to be all stars and rainbows, and every interaction they have, they'll move on from that interaction, living literally each moment at a time, no really planning at all. And what I found is that women actually occupy a large percentage of the people who live their life like this. They want to live their happy stars and rainbow lives, and rightfully so. They shouldn't have to worry about the problems of the world today. They shouldn't have to worry about getting a degree here. They should have to worry about raising a family and taking care of a family and more stuff that they are responsible for that I won't tap into simply just because I'm unaware and naive of the situation. But I do find a lot of women, we have to be critical here and listen with caution here, that a lot of women live today, day by day, and try and make the most of what there is and try and have fun with whatever it is. Similarly, so there's the hedonist. The hedonist is the one who engages in pleasure, whose whole point of life, and they stand by pleasure. Everything they do is so that they can get through it and go live to pleasure, so that they can go enjoy the life. And that was the concept I was kind of grueling about last semester. The people I was like, people who are hedonists are just, they're just horrible people. And to some degree they are. And we can say this from an Islamic standpoint. We can say this. This is not something to be like, you can't say that. Hedonists, where your life goal is to have fun, are people who are not en route to their true selves, to their religious, to their deeper thing. They're not deep thinkers. And you might say, well, there was this person who's Let me quickly make sure everyone understands the same page what a hedonist is. A hedonist is someone who lives for pleasure, whose point in life is happiness. Why are you alive? I live to be happy. I live to have good times and be happy. And you often see these people are the ones who go out drinking, go out doing all the fun things, try and have as much party time and whatever it is that they enjoy. And they will do anything in life insofar as it leads to happiness. In fact, these people will often take their responsibilities in life and try and make it fun. They will, there's an example I have, I won't mention it, but they will try and make sure their work is fun and wherever they do is as fun as possible because that's all they like. All they want is fun. And then, similar to these people, but less thoughtless, brainless, and dead, are the yo-yoers. And this is something I've been thinking about quite recently. And I've also been thinking about the day-to-dayers quite recently. What I call a yo-yoer is someone who is constantly bouncing back and forth between an addiction or some great stimulating pleasure and their daily responsibilities. And this is where you see a large percentage of the population. And what this looks like is you're going to work every single day. You're going through the responsibilities. You're not trying to make it fun because you realize this is grueling and this sucks. And These people tend to be not the ones who are being given a car at the age of, okay, shoot, that includes me. A car at the age of 17. They've been given housing, everything paid for. They're getting having a fun life in the dorms, or they're driving their parents' cars all around the city in high school, going to different places every single day. Those are the people who are hedonists, but these people tend to be the less fortunate ones, those who have to work hard to get their life going and keep their life going. And this includes a lot of the 9-to-5ers. And what they often do is when they get home, and we are all almost guilty of this, is we bounce to whatever pleasure it is because we're exhausted, we're fatigued by the day, and we need something to relax us, or we need something to unwind, or something to, make some life somewhat pleasurable instead of just work. Usually this might be a Netflix show, and I call these addictions because they take away. They are what we go to that we need. When you get home, you need this, otherwise you can't survive. So this looks like Netflix, video games, TV shows. Netflix is a TV show or streaming website. Video games, food, other addictions, drugs, marijuana, blah 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 blah. There's so many things that it is for someone, and to each person, it is something different. And there's something we can talk about, how we can talk about different people and their different kinds of addictions that people tend to form based on their personality. Whatever, we can talk about that in a whole nother video. But the whole point is, these are the yo-yo category. And finally, you have the category, which is, in my mind, the victor. In my mind, the one we need to all have, and it is the optimizers, the people who want to really get the most out of their day, the people who fear death, the people who fear God. But before we get there, we have to slow down, because not all optimizers are chasing God. So we have the optimizer category. One of them has the roots set in God, and the other one has it set in some other, maybe monetary or other thing to get that they want to chase, essentially. And that's where you see a lot of the people today who chase money, or get this website. And we'll get to this, but a lot of people are just like money forward, or get the best girl, get the best money, get the best house, get the best car, alpha male, top G kind of stuff. This entire rhetoric is flawed in nature. Because, if you ask them simply, what morals do you live by? To each of them, it's different. To each of them, it is hard to understand. If you ask someone who is amongst this path, why don't you scam people to get your wealth, right? Someone who's chasing money, why don't you scam people? And it's so easy, you can scam them. You're not going to get any trouble. We engage with life so much that we should be able to see at least some points where we can manipulate the situation for money. And I can definitely see that at work and other kinds of places. You can do this to manipulate money out of people. And there's a lot of ways, gambling, whatever it is. Why don't you get rich off these tactics? And they'll say, I'll have my morals. But what are your morals really? And you ask them, and they have to boil it down simply to the fear of death. It's a loaded statement right there, but if you were to ask them questions of why you do what kind of morals do you have? Why don't you do this? They'll say, well, because it's my moral, and this is the moral compass I live by. Well, why is that the moral compass that you live by? And you often find that it is just whatever suited them best. It is a thoughtless chase, in that the destination will never actually truly alleviate what they're going for. They will never have enough money. They will never have enough women. They'll never have enough cars, or whatever it is. These are the optimizers. This is who I tried to become. But what we finally have here are the optimizers who have the moral framework based on the Quran, who follow the rules of the book. Now, once again, I will point back to my old video, the one where it's not about reading the book and following the laws. In fact, a scholar had actually recently said this, Sheikh Khalil Jaffer or Numan Ali Khan. I forgot which one. Not Khalil Jaffer. I don't know. But I recently heard it in a lecture. And I was like, yeah, this is what my video was about. Life is not about, and these are scholars talking about the Quran. It's not about reading the book, following the laws. The Quran is not about reading the book and following the laws. So when we look at Islam from the optimizer standpoint, what do I mean by it? You can optimally follow the laws. You can make sure every meat is zabiha, hand slaughtered right in front of your face. Or you can make sure that those things are taken care of, and then make sure you're optimizing your life in that it is leading towards the succession through God. And that's how you achieve true monetary success. That's how you achieve true wealth, abundant wealth, contentment. And a lot of this is everyone's chase for contentment. How are you happy with your current situation? As an optimizer, you're never happy with the current situation. Or you can't be, because that's what will get you to keep going and chasing more goals. Unless you're an optimizer in the way of God. Because you will be happy with his appointments, but you will still seek more and more, thinking that you are extremely lowly. And that is the principle of a religious believer. They in every step believe that they are low, that they are not good enough, that they need to get more, that they need to provide more for the family, that they need to do this, more, and they need to make sure that the religion is constantly and in tune to what it needs to be, that they're constantly that spiritual person that they need to be, where they are being the best person in every interaction, where they are doing right upon others, doing right upon themselves, constantly getting in better in the name of God. But no, we don't like that. That idea is often pushed away. It's seen as weird as those people who are religious. They're unreasonable. They're old. They don't know what they're doing. This world. They don't know how to live in this world. But in reality, Islam is the most practical religion. If you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, if you want to do anything better, if you want to have a better life, stop living your yo-yo life. I'm sorry. I know it's hard, but you have to repurpose it. Escape the addiction and repurpose your life towards God. And truly then will you be happy. And truly then will you be successful. And truly then will all the things start working out for you. And you will be tried, and you will be happy with the trials. And this is a task very hard to do. In fact, in my second week of spring break, I do consider myself, at the baseline, optimizer. But what's important to recognize is that you're not always going to be an optimizer 24/7. You're going to have flaws in that, and you're going to fall to some sort of pattern or fall to one of these sorts of lifestyles. And I did that, and I fell into the day by day, simply because I didn't have a schedule. And that is something very important for an optimizer. You have to have a schedule. You have to have goals, rather, a plan. Otherwise, you're going to be living that day by day, trying to live day by day as a believer in God, but you will never amount to anything because you don't have those goals. You'll constantly fall into the same spiritual traps that you fall into. Because there's no room for feedback. There's no room for reflection. Day by dayers don't reflect. Day by dayers don't look at the end of the day and say, here's where I did wrong. That's what an optimizer does. Because in order to truly optimize, you have to make sure everything is going right. Nothing can be wasted. So that means reflecting. And that means correctly aligning your goals to and morals along with Islam. Truly what we have here is a moral framework for life. We have the guiding ideals. We have the chase that we need to chase in order for true success. So it is possible that you can be amongst more than one of these categories. But you will always have one predominant category. And what I ask is now, today, make the switch. Make your switch to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to your religion. Become an optimizer. And how do you do this? Still working out that answer. But I know what you need. I know what you can do is you can continue the principles you have learned through the month of Ramadan. And for those of you who are Christian, continue to follow the rules throughout Lent. Just because the month is over, don't stop. So I want us all to take the initiative now, before Ramadan is over, that we will fast every Monday and Thursday. I believe that is the sunnah. If it is wrong, please correct me in the comment section. Please tell me, or even confirm the fact that it is Monday and Thursdays, and let us all do that. There's not much I can say to convince you to make yourself amongst the optimizers. And as an optimizer, your life struggle is to continue to be that optimizer in the way of God. As that is my pursuit in life. My pursuit is God, is the bettering of myself. But the worship of God. This month is beautiful, and I love it, and I don't want it to end. Because I found that in this month, the pursuit of it was so much easier. To fall into other dooming traps of yo-yoing with an addiction, or living day by day trying to make everything feel right, or living as a hedonist, it's not going to work. And one of the big things I missed out on is, what does a hedonist and a yo-yoer and a day-by-dayer and a optimizer all have in common? It's contentment. It's being content with your current situation, and this is a whole video in and of itself. But I'll point this out clearly and quickly. An optimizer has no contentment with their current position. Why? Because they need to better themselves. And that is out of God, because you realize yourself to be lowly and weak. And therefore, you need to become better. You can't be content with your current situation. If you look at similarly so, the yo-yoers. They yo-yo, and they're not happy with the fact that they're yo-yoing most of the time. And you'll see the pain within them that they have to go to their 9 to 5 and go to school and do all these things, and it sucks. And all for what? And then you go to your pleasure, and that truly doesn't make you happy. And so these people are not content with the current version of themselves, but it's so hard to escape it. But if you acknowledge the fact that this is what you are first, then you can truly grow. Then you have a chance. Those of you who are still soft in the heart, not hardened by the delusions of this reality. And that's where you look at the hedonists. The hedonist is content with their position, unless it's not fun. The whole goal is fun, and they're content if they're having fun. And those people are truly, forgive me, but I mean, the Quran talks extensively about this. And I'm talking specifically about the kafirun who are okay with being kafir, who know that there is something better that they can do, that they know that these are all the different paths. But you know what? I'm going to engage with this pleasure. And I try and have sympathy with them, but these people are hard in the heart. They don't look back at all and say, hey, you know, I might have wronged you here. These are the people we see who are just douchebags, essentially. They don't feel for anyone else. They're here to have fun. They try and make sure everything is as fun as possible. And yeah, I will bash it so that you can get away from it. And day by dayers, you have to be careful with them. And like I said, most of the time they are women, because I can't tell you why. But this is just simply what I've realized. I can go into it, but that would be even more depth. And this is still quite a long video. Might as well turn it into a khutbah. Happy Jummah Friday, whatever, for those of you who are watching it on time. And what we have to be careful with the day-by-dayers is, first we have to be careful not to be one. And the whole idea to escape that is to become a goal setter. To make sure that you are hitting landmarks, to make sure that you are going somewhere, to make sure that your life is planned out. That you have different steps that you can follow to get yourself to be an optimizer. You have to allow yourself to be able to take steps. It's like trying to ascend a mountain, but it's just straight incline. It's just smooth edge. There's nowhere to grip onto. You just slide down. So you have to allow yourself to set those marks where you can rock climb up the mountain. Otherwise, you just slide down. And if you're not careful, women will pull you into this. This is the dangers of having a woman in your life who isn't correctly in tune to their own nature. And to how a woman needs to be natured, I can't tell you. I'm a man. But if they aren't natured properly, they were going to be a day-by-dayer, and they're going to pull you within that. And you'll go to work, and you'll come home, and they'll be like, oh, let's do this, and let's do this. And you're going to be exhausted, but like, sure. And then, yeah, let's just do this for fun, and da-da-da-da-da. And, oh, okay, let's just go to sleep, and then we can wake up for work tomorrow, and then we can see what we can do from there and have some more fun tomorrow. Oh, let's maybe go to the gym tomorrow and have Chipotle after. you know? So yeah, that's the fourth category. That's all I want to talk about for today. Long video. But this is one very important. And for those of you who stayed to the end, I applaud you for staying for the 20-minute video, but thank you. And please listen to what I've said. Let's keep moving forward with this. Apply it, think about it, reflect on it, ponder on it. Thank you, and good luck.